In Chapter 4 of The Heart and the Abyss, the focus of attention are the rights and values of the human embryo. In this chapter, I give a description of normal embryonic development. A crucial argument in the abortion debate is that conception is a unique event when new human life is created. Embryonic development is characterized by an intrinsic finality, guided by the DNA in the cell core, which is present and active in its specific combination from the moment of conception. Embryonic development proceeds gradually, continuously, and coordinated. Therefore, the question is raised of the extent of legal protection of the human embryo. A comparison with international law shows that the view that human life is worthy of protection from conception onwards has not been included in United Nations and European Union conventions, nor in Supreme Court verdicts in various European countries. Among jurists, an international consensus had not yet been reached regarding the question when human life and the related rights to life begin. From a bioethical point of view, however, the inherent dignity of the human embryo should be distinguished from attributed dignity and recognized as such. The central and normative question in the abortion debate concerns the status of the embryo as a human being and as a person. By some, it is argued that being a person starts with rational capacity or even later. Such a view leads to a dualism between a human being and a person. After all, there is no identifiable moment of substantial change in the development of the human embryo. As a biological argument for the proposition that a human embryo needs to be considered as a person from conception, it is put forward that a zygote, which is a fertilized egg cell, is the beginning of a human being with active potentiality. As a philosophical argument for this proposition, it is stated that being a potential person is impossible. It is further argued that the rational choice theory on fertility is unsuitable for the foundation of a choice for abortion because economic, social, and moral costs are not to be compared. This kind of decision-making should be considered as an improper application of the principle of proportionality, also called consequentialism. This is the case because the future qualities of the fetus remain unknown and therefore cannot be compared to any possible benefits of abortion. It is argued by Don Marquis and others that in almost all cases, procured abortion is an immoral act. Marquis gives the philosophical argument that procured abortion deprives a fetus of his or her future like ours, a future which is potentially valuable. From a theological point of view, the potentiality to grow into an adult is already present in the embryo from conception. However, such a metaphysical notion of potentiality is often criticized, as we know all too well. In this regard, the concept of human dignity within bioethics and in the national law is taken into consideration. I argue that every human embryo possesses an intrinsic human dignity, even if this still has to flourish. It is obvious that also persons with a certain anomaly or disability share in human dignity. The equality of every individual implies that in reproductive decision-making, one should focus on every human being as a whole and not just on a particular anomaly or disability, as often seems to happen at the discovery of a certain anomaly after prenatal diagnosis. In my book, an ethical conclusion about procured abortion is formulated, using the principle of acts with double effect. According to this principle, which is derived from natural law theory, an act could be morally justified when 4 conditions are met simultaneously. First, the act must not be wrong in itself. Second, the agent's intention must be right. Third, the good effect must not be realized by negative side effects. And fourth, there must be a proportionately grave reason for doing such an act with negative side effects. It is concluded that, morally speaking, only in very specific medical cases an abortion could be performed, accepting the fetus death in order to save the mother's life. In these exceptional circumstances, all 4 conditions of the principle of acts with double effect are met. In all other cases, ways must be sought to avoid abortion, which of course is not only a woman's responsibility, but also a responsibility of her partner, of other persons directly involved, and of society as a whole, because alternatives to abortion should be provided.